All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Glad you're with us. Every Monday, Tyler Watts joins the show on the Higginbotham Hotline, member of the Alabama broadcast crew next to Corey Reamer and Chris Stewart. Tyler, you went over to Athens, watched the Crimson Tide find a way to win. Greg and I have been hitting on it a little bit today. How impressed we were with the deliberate nature that Ty Simpson played this football game. Bootlegs, coming out quick, get the ball out. Deciding when to tuck the ball and run. Making decisions on when and where to throw the football. There seemed like almost no hesitation from him in this game. How did it look from your vantage point?
I'd like to say that that's the best I've seen him play all year, but in all honesty, it's just a continuation of what he did in weeks 2 and 3. And then taking the off week, he was just spot on once again. His processing is just happening so quick, his recognition of what the defense is doing. And, initially, honestly, I thought it was maybe our formations, bunch personnel, things of that nature were really causing a lot of confusion in the secondary for Georgia with their, trying to match up the routes. But you go back and look at it, and no, they defended a lot of those plays really well. He was just throwing dimes all night long.
I thought he played fantastic. I mean, just absolutely beautiful from start to finish. And when I look at kind of where they're at and where they're heading, obviously I thought there was a nice commitment at the run game. Like I'm not necessarily suggesting that it was a dominant run game performance, but I saw growth on that side of the ball. I thought the offensive line was outstanding in pass pro throughout most of the game. They got overloaded a couple times, but that was really more on scheme. And Ty was able to see it. So just overall big picture, how would you assess the offense's performance?
I think you really enjoyed, especially in the first half. You had to be awfully impressed. I mean, taking the first 2 drives right down the field, and even on the third drive, having opportunities getting up around midfield. Moving the ball was not an issue all night long. And you're right, the offensive line played about as good. I've never seen so much screen game out of Alabama. And it was crazy, too, because Georgia wasn't a great defensive pressure up front. They really had to commit to trying to bring extra guys in order to apply pressure, which they didn't do all night. But we were still able to screen them on several occasions for some big gainers. And quite honestly, we're one player away on 2 different occasions of probably hitting our head on the goalpost. So I loved what we were doing offensively all night long. I thought the execution was outstanding. And look, y'all probably already talked about this, but the cojones that you have to run some of those trick plays in that particular game, at that point in the game where points are critical inside the red zone, where turnovers just can't have them. I mean, I tip my hat to the coaching staff for being fearless, and I thought that trickled down to the players on the offensive side as well.
And two, I think you have to look at the fact that, you're avoiding catastrophe with a couple trick plays that don't necessarily work. Like I know Jeremy Bernard had one. He decided not to throw it. How many guys would have just put that ball up and all of a sudden it's an interception that flips momentum, changes the field? I've seen a couple of those this year, Tyler, where guys have had an opportunity for some sort of different trick play. It's not exactly what it needs to be, and they just kind of kill it as opposed to try to force it and it become a catastrophe.
Yeah, sometimes you have to prevent from losing the game before you have a chance to win it. And you're right. But that's a mature football team, one that understands the situation and have been coached, quite honestly, of not just we're calling the play, therefore, coach called it, I'm going to throw it. It's understanding if it's not there, hey, eat it. So I thought that they were well coached, well prepared.
What about the defense and kind of where things are with them? Are you in a good spot with?
Yes, I am feeling much better. You talk about the momentum changing in the second half. Georgia had that one scoring drive. They threatened deep when we were able to turn them over on downs. But that Alabama defense, say what you want to, but they held Georgia the final 21, 22 minutes of that ball game without a score. And I thought that they played extremely tough up front. I was very impressed with the improvement of the run fits and keeping gap integrity. I thought that was much, much better. Need a little help sometimes from the outside, cornerback setting the edge when the ball carrier bounces it. But there was a couple of times we kind of got out of position. Edric Hill would get washed down the defensive front. But that was my biggest concern going into that game, was just how they were going to gut you with the running attack. And they got some big hitters, but overall, you held them out of the end zone. And you forced Gunnar Stockton to not really trust his eyes and kind of force the ball, get rid of it, because he had some open receivers. He just didn't see them. So I was impressed with the defense. I am concerned, though, losing Quay Russaw and James Smith for the first half versus Vanderbilt, because it's going to be a tough one.
No doubt. Quay Russaw, surgery on his foot due to an injury, and obviously going to be out for an extended period of time. That's a difficult loss. Who else on the edges have you maybe heard about, seen flashes of, that you feel like when Alabama does need that pass rush, that speed rush, to sort of bend the edge, who could be that guy down the road?
I don't know if they have that person on the defensive front. I mean, do you bring Bray Hubbard? I mean, he's kind of your Mr. Gadget. He can do anything, it seems like, on this defensive side. He might be your best linebacker as far as filling a gap and going low and up in and running back, causing a fumble. He's pretty doggone good in coverage, evading quarterbacks, getting his hands on the ball. So I don't know what
he decleated a receiver, too, in screen game that was trying to block him. So
he has really turned it around, and that's kind of energy that entire defensive unit is kind of playing with right now. But we're a little depleted along the defensive front, especially with Jamarian Latham still out. So some of those younger guys are going to step up. I tell you who I thought really played good was Nikhai Hill-Green. I thought he gave great effort, played tough between the tackle box, and made a couple of key plays down the end of the game.
What about just kind of where things are for Kalen DeBoer moving forward? I mean, this was a emphatic victory. I think his competitiveness was on display. His emotion was on display. I think it's what a lot of Bama fans probably wanted to see. You know, I for one know he's competitive. I don't need him throwing his headset to know that he cares. But what do you think about where he stands right now and how big this game was for him?
Look, I think that he's just always focused on the players and what it means to them and the success that they're out there having. As far as all the outside noise or anything like that, I don't think he really cares or needs to be concerned with what we're talking about on our end. It's about getting your players ready to play the best they possibly can. And yes, it was a great win. It's going to make all of us as fans feel a lot better because he's able to go on the road and play against a really good opponent, dominate Georgia. But it's a so what, now what mentality. This is the game that got you last year. And I think as soon as the clock hit 0 over in Athens, this locker room was focused on next week and when Vanderbilt comes to town.
Tyler, always great having you. I do want to ask you one more question before you go, and it's not about Alabama. I don't know what your thoughts were on Georgia going in.
I don't want to talk about Georgia going in.
Yeah, what do you not want to talk about first?
Last Friday night. I don't want you to bring up last Friday night.
You're the first one to bring it up, so thanks for that. I would never go there. No, we're not doing that. But I don't know what your thoughts of
Why?
Georgia
What happened
were.
Friday night?
Nothing. I don't know what your thoughts of Georgia were.
Did you watch SportsCenter Top 10?
What did you leave? What did you leave Athens thinking about this Georgia football team, and maybe what was different of what your perception was going in?
Here's a sober reality. Everyone's patting Alabama on the back right now for dominating that football game, and they won by 3. Georgia's a really good football team. Go back and watch the film. They were in it from halftime on. They keep fighting. They are every bit of a contender. That's a good football team.
There you go. Tyler, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate the time.
Appreciate y'all. Have a great day.
There you go. Tyler Watts, member of the Alabama broadcast team, joins us every Monday to discuss Alabama football and what he saw from his vantage point inside the stadium calling games. It's and I do think that a little bit of that is lost, GMAC, of how competitive the game was, and that there were some spots that Georgia had a chance to make some plays. I mean, everybody's mad about handing the ball to Cass Jones and, going down there on that 4th down play. But if your right tackle just bodies up the defensive lineman, just gets a hat on a hat instead of taking a false step, then it's probably no questions asked. It's
a walk.
He's probably going to the corner of the end zone.
Yeah. Look, everyone is going to play Monday morning quarterback about that. It was a tremendous individual effort by Overton. If he doesn't make the play, he scores. I mean, I think it's easy. Like if you're going to look at it from the perspective, like they didn't win the one matchup they needed to win on that play to win the play. Overton won it. Bama won the play. That's the beauty of defense, is you can have the perfect play called and one guy winning absolutely stymies what could have been a real positive play. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not killing Georgia at all. I think Georgia's a good football team. I do. I think Georgia ran the ball pretty well. I think there's some things to like about what we saw from Georgia. I think they got to, for one, figure out how to get off to a better start. I mean, you cannot, I don't care who you are, what you have, you cannot, sleepwalk through the first quarter and a half of SEC games. You just can't. And that's happened now twice. And by the way, even in the non-conference, there were a couple games which they were sloppy in the first quarter. They got to find a way to start faster. If they can start faster, they'll be in a better spot. If they can't, they're going to continue to find themselves behind the 8 ball. And this is a group that's built to play with the lead, not a group that's built to play from behind. So if I were looking at it from Georgia's perspective, one big takeaway: figure out how to start faster moving forward. Because if you don't, it's going to be hard, man.
Yeah. I'll go back to what he brought up, and I'll give a shout out to Bennett Jordan, Mountain Brook tight end, who caught the 2-point conversion to win the game at Homewood Friday night. Mountain Brook gets the win. Congratulations to the Spartans. Nice comeback win. Incredible play to finish that thing off. It was an unbelievable play, and Bennett made a great play individually. So, good job by them. Anything else you need to add to that?
Yeah. Did you see SportsCenter Top 10?
No.
Well, we were number 8.
Who was?
Mountain Brook.
That's not what you said a second ago. Who was number 8?
I said we.
You threw the ball? You blocked?
My team.
Or did you had the bad snap on the play?
No, that was I've never had a bad snap. I've never delivered a bad snap.
I didn't know you were out there for that
snap
one.
A time or two.
Okay. Didn't know you were out there for that one.
It's okay, dude. Hang in there. I'm sure basketball season. No, not basketball. What other sports do we play?
Lacrosse?
Maybe at baseball. No, definitely not getting on lacrosse.
Don't. Oh, come on.
Real good
you play
about
lacrosse.
that.
Come on now.
Are you saying Homewood's not
golf?
good at basketball,
No,
or
not
Homewood
golf.
are you saying Homewood's not good at? I believe Homewood had a state championship golfer last year.
Oh, so we play individual sports now?
No, I'm asking. Are you saying that they don't compete in those sports, or are you just claiming Homewood's not good at any of those sports?
No, I'm just saying Mountain Brook owns you in all those sports. So I'm just curious, like what sport? Wrestling? Maybe? I don't know. Where are we at?
What happened to
What are you
winning?
going to get us in this year?
I hadn't seen the tape on that. I also didn't know that ownership was in place. I'll have to go back and check.
Oh, he's
the
in
tape
their
on that
Hall of Fame too,
So-
just like South. Oh,
He
okay.
will be.
Okay.
He will be soon. For
No,
his
it's a good
fandom.
win by the Brook. It was nicely done. It's great play, calm under pressure, buying time, got to have a situation,
Buying
throw it up, make
time.
a play, tight end goes up and gets it. It was a great play. You got to tip your cap. It was awesome.
Unbelievable play. I don't know what time was bought other than running around, but yeah.
I think running around
it
and
happen.
retreating and buying time that's usually pretty good.
Made it happen, that's for sure. All right, a couple other games around the SEC that we have not touched on just yet. We're going to do that when we come back. First, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been my go-to for a long time, and I know you guys will appreciate greatly the experience you have when you walk in the door at one of their 2 locations in Mountain Brook Village and at the Summit. They also have some fun things coming up, like a jewelry buying event for 2 days only. You need to go to brombergs.com right now to go check out the jewelry buying event, because here coming up about a week from now, coming up here pretty soon, they're going to be buying back jewelry where you could sell back diamonds, jewelry, watches, even silver flatware for immediate payment. And if you decide that you want to just trade something in for Mountain Brook credit, well, guess what? You can do that as well. You get 120% of your offer in that store credit. So you get 20% bonus if you want to trade something in. This is a group that's been around for 190 years of trusted expertise. They make the process easy, transparent, and secure. So don't wait. Appointments fill up fast. Call Bromberg's at the Summit today.
Okay, when we come back, we'll hit a couple of other games around the Southeastern Conference and Inside College Football next, right here on Jocks. We mentioned Greg's game a little bit earlier in the show. Monday, September 29th, 9:18, right here on Jocks. Listen online, jocksfm.com. The app is in your App Store, iPhone, Android. Download that for free. We'll go South Carolina, Kentucky for a moment. We will go with LSU and Ole Miss for just a moment. But first, I'll tell you about Gusty Goulis and the Gusty Goulis Group. If you're looking to get into a new home in Central Alabama, you should call the Gusty Goulis Group, 205-542-1996. They're brokered by eXp Realty. Serves more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. Since 2012, Gusty Goulis Group recognized both nationally and locally as Greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes sold. Over 850 five-star Google reviews. So just Google Gusty Goulis Group, and you can see for yourself what they're saying. Trust his aggressive and proven selling system like so many have in Central Alabama. Google Gusty Goulis Group. Go to gustygoulisgroup.com or call 205-542-1996 today and start packing. I asked you a little bit earlier in the show, G-Mac, the problems for LSU offensively. And I'll say this. I'll give them a little bit of credit, okay? Just an ounce of credit.
Just a
1,
touch.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays. They actually evened up the formation and ran the football. 7, which is about 6 more than any other game this year. So
Wow.
at least they tried by formation to do some different things to help the run game out just a little bit. I thought they got the ball out pretty quickly. I'm interested in your sort of mindset on this. It appeared to me as though if Nussmeier got one-on-ones on the outside, the instruction was just take our chances. And Ole Miss won. The Ole Miss corners won those one-on-ones at the end of the day.
Correct.
And that was a big part of why that game went the way that it did.
Yeah. I mean, that was the key. And I think if you look at it, Ole Miss identified a couple things. They said, we're going to go after P.J. Woodland. We're not even going to try Mansour Delane. He's that good. Like, there's no point. We're going to try to attack him. And Woodland did have the interception, so there was a couple good moments from him as well, but they hit him constantly on back shoulder throws, and they were well covered. I mean, it was just good catches by Deuce Alexander. They also played their way out of a couple gaps in the run game that led to some big plays being ripped off. I don't know if you saw it similar, but it was kind of amazing to me, like the movement stuff. Like you live by, I even said it in the broadcast, like you live by movement, you die by movement. And on the Lacey touchdown off the right-hand side, like they had 2 guys that were right where they needed to be, and they played their way out of position. Weeks tried to clean it up by going over the top, but there was no one there in the gap. So they're a little bit, there's a little bit more in the defensive plan from Blake Baker, where I think they might have gotten a little too aggressive from time to time, especially playing against an offensive line that I don't think is elite by any stretch. As far as LSU's offense is concerned, Nussmeier's got to make the throws. I mean, he's got to make some throws, man. Like even stuff that was caught was off target.
Yeah.
And it doesn't allow for as much yards after catch. It doesn't allow for guys to advance the ball. I think that's part of what I'm struggling with right now. And I know he's been hurt. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I get that. Like, he's been hurt, and that stinks. I hate it for him. I really do. I hate it for him. But man, like he's missing throws. I mean, he's just missing throws, and I don't really know what to attribute it to. Is it because he has an ab injury that's forced him to miss practice, which has led to him being a little bit out of sorts? Perhaps, I don't know, but he's missing a lot of throws, man, and it's hard to kind of wrap your head around.
It is, and I would say that I agree with that. But I'll say this: I think this is the best game the Ole Miss offensive line's played this year.
By far.
Having said that, still not like it was a great game. Not like they dominated. I don't want people to misconstrue that, because you may see highlights and you'll see pressures, sacks, different things. You'll see TFLs, but in some gotta-have-it moments, they bodied some guys up and did the things necessary to gain yards. It helps that you have a running back that just knows how to grind out yards, and Keywan Lacey knows how to do that. Like, that was maybe the most impressive 23 for 87 at 3.8 yards per carry that I've seen in a while. Because how many runs, Greg, were like right into a stalemate at the offense-defensive line, just kind of sitting there, and then next thing you know, whoop, like there he goes for like 5 or 6 yards. And there he goes from even 2 to 4 yards. But you're just thinking, man, that easily could have been a loss of 3, and he turned it into 2. and that was huge for them. It was massive. I thought the left guard played extremely well for Ole Miss, and I came away from that game thinking, I know a lot of people are going to look at Trinidad Chambliss and say, oh, he throws the ball well, and he's got nice touch, and oh, he's a great runner. That guy avoids catastrophe is what he does. I think that's his best attribute, is he can squirt away from pressure and then throw the ball away. Or he can avoid a sack and find a way to run and pick up 3 to 4 yards. Or when he's on the run, you're making a quick little dump off or a check down, whatever that is, and just getting the ball out and allow them to go for 2-3 yards. Like, there were so many plays that I saw from him, Greg, that with a lot of other quarterbacks, and maybe it's because I watched the Ole Miss game after I watched the Auburn game, could have led to catastrophe, and he had absolutely zero. I mean, the interception, okay, like maybe tried to force that ball just a little bit, but I mean, almost 0 times in that game did he put his team in a position where that was going to cost them the outcome. And about 20, 30 times I saw him avoid said play and turn it into some sort of a net positive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a bunch of stuff that he does where he takes off, he buys time, he gets upfield, he anticipates throws. Like, he's got a lot more velocity on it than I originally thought. You know, like watching him on tape, it didn't look like he could drive the ball as well as I anticipated, but man, he can drive the ball. Like, he's in great command. You're 100% right. Like, he avoids critical mistakes, but he's just a gamer.
Yes.
Like, he is a gamer when you watch him. And man, it's fun to watch. I mean, he's accurate. I don't know about him on and if you look at his numbers on throws that have traveled like 20 plus yards, going into that game this past weekend, I haven't seen the numbers yet for this past weekend. On throws that traveled 20 plus yards, you realize that he is 8 of 9 with a drop.
Jeez.
Going into last week. That's absurd.
This is pretty good.
You
take
think?
that. You'll take that.
Yeah, that one we can win with that. I think he's been outstanding. Very, very impressed with what I've seen from him up to this point, and think that he's only going to continue to get better, in my opinion, in this offense. This is a guy that arrived in June. Think about that. He arrived in June and is running the offense with this level of efficiency already. It's pretty dang sporty.
Well, it's like I told you after having him week 1, like Lane told us, we didn't even know if he was going to be the backup because his practice was so rough early on.
Right.
Like, he wasn't performing well in practice, and we were kind of thinking, yeah, this is going to just be like a guy that's here. Like, maybe he can help scout team. And then they get in their first Saturday scrimmage, and he's up and down the field. Like, his group is scoring up and down the field, first downs, big plays, and they're like, okay, maybe this kid's got something. And as you stated, just a gamer. That's just kind of what he is. But, man, he makes things go. Ultimately, though, Ole Miss won the line of scrimmage. That's why they won this football game. You know, I teased that before we went to the break. And I thought Uman Mielen had some of his best pass rushes of the year. He was getting in the face of Garrett Nussmeier. Perkins, we know, is great. Like, I don't really have to point him out because we point him out every week. He does good things every week. But Will Eccles, 52 inside. Like, you talk about showing up. Like, that guy's showing up. I mean, he played a hell of a game. And not a guy that a lot of people were talking about. And I'll give Pete Golding credit. He told me before their opener, he said, Cam Franklin's a guy we have to have. And he had a great camp, and we've been waiting on him, and we think he can be really good. He was a problem for that Ole Miss offensive line. And once again, a guy that you're going to look at the stats and say, whoa, 5 tackles and 1.5 TFLs, like, well, not that dominant. He made a lot of other things problematic. Like, he was the penetrator in some stunts, and he was a guy that got in Garrett Nussmeier's face. He was off the edge. He was inside. He was a problem. And I'm looking at that group, Greg, going, Xavier Harris, we know he's been good. Like, okay, now you got 52 in there causing some problems. Perkins can be a little bit of an issue. Like, Jamarcus Brown, 96, did a couple good things. All of a sudden, it's like this D-line's not going to be a liability anymore.
No.
And that just changes the perspective for what Ole Miss football might be this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's hard to push back on any of that. I think when you really look at it, there are very few guys that have been more impressive than what Pete Golding's done at times this year. Like I know that we can talk a lot, but the defensive line, for example, like I think they probably look at their secondary and they think to themselves, yeah, we might have a couple issues here. I think they do. Like I think they do have some problems in the back end. There were a lot of guys open. Nussmeier missed them, what have you. But I think their secondary is human, very human. And that's okay. And Pete Golding is going to do whatever he can to protect that group. But I still think at the end of the day, defensively, their defensive line is their strength. Are they elite like they were last year? Probably not. But that is their strength on that side of the ball. So the fact that they could get home with three-man rush, the fact that they were able to take some of the pressure off their secondary is awesome. And I'm telling you, if you look at their schedule, like tell me right now who you think Ole Miss doesn't match up pretty well against. Name one team on their schedule that you think they can't match up with.
If their O-line and D-line is playing that way, then I mean that they don't have a real mismatch, I don't think, left on the schedule.
They don't.
This is going to be an interesting watch. A weird one against Washington State next, at Georgia. And I know people are going to say physically, well, I mean, this Georgia team's not necessarily overwhelming everybody physically.
No.
And yes, Oklahoma's defensive line is a mismatch for anybody. It doesn't matter. But with how Ole Miss spreads you out, adds quarterback run, like they can neutralize that to maybe more of an extent than a lot of other people can. And look what Auburn did to their secondary. Ole Miss will have opportunities to do that. But then if the defensive line is playing the way they are, that's a massive advantage for Ole Miss in that game.
Massive.
You know, South Carolina's O-line looked a little bit better this week, played with some tenacity. But, I mean, that's one. I don't look at that as any sort of a mismatch. Florida, the Florida we thought we were going to get would have been a mismatch. But that was with a depleted Ole Miss D-line and a really good Florida offensive line, and that hadn't been the case. And then Mississippi State. So
answer me this question. Like, I'm kind of removing the conversation right now, centering around O-line, D-line, or whatnot, because I know that's where the league is won. Answer me this right now, and this is a difficult, removing John Mateer because of the injury. Tell me which quarterback you want in the SEC right now. You can have anybody in the SEC right now. Who do you want?
Oh, man. I mean, without the injury, it's still John Mateer, I think.
Okay, remove him. He's hurt, though, so he's not in the mix right now.
I'd probably take Ty Simpson.
Don't disagree. Who's next?
Maybe Taylor Green still.
Now, too many inaccurates. Too many missed throws. Super dynamic, but too many missed throws. Next.
Trinidad's up there.
There you go. Like, as crazy as that sounds, my list would be John Mateer 1, Ty Simpson 2, and probably some combination of Bo Prabula and Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, I was going to say the guy who just completed 21 straight probably should be in that conversation. I don't care who it was against, because Bo Prabula he's moving up that list quickly, rapidly,
He's
and
balling.
a lot of people are not noticing. But I understand the level of competition. I understand who it was against, but I'll just say this. He understands ball tempo and ball velocity maybe better. That's one of the things Ty Simpson did well, too. A couple of screens and dump-offs. Like, he knows where to throw it and how to just barely fit it in there. The opposite of what you said about Jackson Arnold earlier. Same thing with Bo Prabula. Like, the tempo on his throws is often perfect. He knows I can't throw this 90 miles an hour. All right, I just got to just put this one over to the side, let him go get it, and then go make a play. And his decisiveness is on point, too. Like, he knows when it's got to get out, when to tuck it and run. He's not sitting in the pocket waiting for things to happen. O-line didn't play well in the second half of that game, but he's got a great run game to go with it, too. But Bo Prabula is a guy people need to start taking a little bit more of a peek at, because I don't think anybody's really talking about him, and he's playing at a really high level.
Really high level. I mean, and it's crazy, and I hate to play this game, but, like, you put Bo Prabula in there at Penn State, I think they might win that game. I really do. Like, his athleticism, his accuracy, how decisive he is getting the ball out, like the ball's where it needs to be, and the next level accuracy is very, very impressive. So I'm thoroughly impressed with what I've seen to this point.
I'm with you there, and it's just, it shows how different the quarterback structure is in the SEC now, as opposed to even when we went into the season or after what, like week 2 or 3, we had this conversation and who we had there and what it looked like. It's just kind of wild to think about. Let me say this too, because he got dinged up and he got hurt, but seeing him in person and seeing a couple of things he does, I would still say Lenore Sellers is not too far out of that conversation.
Well, he's like, if you want to go on high side, like on his
Like
best
playmaking
day,
ability, yeah,
yeah,
he can be big time.
like on
He
his
can be
best
big
day,
time.
on his best snap, like yes, big time, huge.
Absolutely.
He's amazing. Like right now, though, I don't know if he's like a top 10 quarterback nationally on efficiency levels. Not right now. I mean, love the guy.
No,
Really
but I'm
do.
going to be
Like, love
interested to
him.
see how it goes because I think his offensive line's getting a little bit better, and he's got a couple receivers that are starting to step up, and he didn't have really any of that early on. Like he had nobody making plays. First couple of weeks, it was like, okay, maybe Nick Harbor catches it, maybe he doesn't. When he does, great, but we know he's not going to catch them all. But Vendrevius Jacobs is coming on, and Brian Rowe Jr. is coming on, and if those two keep playing well, and then you have the little Nick Harbor every now and then, um, he might end up finishing in your top 3. I'm just saying he's got a chance based on his ability and based on what might be happening around him. So it's been fun so far. It's going to be more fun as we go. We'll talk a little bit more about Lenore Sellers in South Carolina, other SEC games that we didn't get to. But first, Greg, tell our listeners about Chenara Flooring.
Well, Fu and his guys have done it again. They continue to stockpile inventory, and because of the amount of inventory they've been able to put together, they are now capable of going and giving it to you at 20 to 40% off. I mean, that's unbelievable. Because of how much they've accumulated, they are passing that savings on. So if you're thinking about making the move to some premium core tech flooring, Fu and his guys at Chenara Flooring are the guys you need to call. This is beautiful, beautiful floors. It comes with a 20 mil wear layer. They are very durable. They're dependable. They're waterproof. They're pet proof. They're all these things. So highly recommend you going and checking them out. They're built to last and they're priced to move. And nobody has the core tech that Fu has in town. So remember Chenara Flooring. When you want core tech, call who? Call Fu. Call Chenara Flooring at 205-518-6423 or go online at fuandyou.com.
All right, we'll come back, give you a couple more thoughts on a few other games around college football, and just go ahead and get yourself prepared. Go ahead and buckle your junk for bad box score of the day because it is unlike anything you've ever seen. All that's still coming next here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. 9:40, Monday, September 29th, right here on Jocks. Game Day Men's Health wants to help you feel better. It's easy. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today. Sign up for the free consultation. You're going to get the free PSA test, free testosterone test, and they're going to let you know where your baseline health is. Then they're going to give you options and ways that they can make you feel better. Multiple plans, like weight loss plans, can help get the extra weight off, get you back on your feet feeling the way that you were before, and just feeling good. The peptides are in stock now if they need to get you going on those. Game Day Men's Health just wants you to feel better, be a better you. And they can do that by going to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, fill out that free consultation. Great people, locker room environment, no stress, holistic approach to health and wellness, now open in Trustville. Minimal upfront costs from the programs that they offer. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com today and see what they can do for you. South Carolina gets a win over Kentucky, Greg, 35-13, and this was one in which South Carolina got Kentucky in the style game very early on that they just flat cannot play. And that was having to drop back and try to come back from behind, having to deal with that crowd noise, and having to essentially be a team that they knew they weren't. Because then all of a sudden, Dylan Stewart, Brian Thomas, those pass rushers can tee off. You're not able to ride Seth McGowan, Dante Dowdle, and get the run game going. Your tackles weren't in a position to be able to drop back and protect like that. Your quarterback's young and experienced. He wasn't ready to make those plays. And it gave South Carolina the ability to sort of test out the run game just a little bit more. And it didn't necessarily get going. They didn't necessarily dominate on the ground at all, but they found their way just enough to be able to sort of run that clock, keep Kentucky from being, a team that could even get back in and be dangerous in that game. But, you know this as well as anybody. Styles make fights. And when they can let those DNs tee off and the crowd gets into the game, and you can take a team that wants to be sort of let's go punch back 3 yards in a cloud of dust, grind this thing out, and all of a sudden they have to play the opposite way, it's a massive advantage for any football team. South Carolina took advantage of it.
For sure. And I think that when you look at where South Carolina's headed, and you tell me, like, you've seen them now, you've seen them twice?
Yep.
They look significantly improved. I mean, just from where they were to where they're going, hopefully it can continue. Don't know if it will or not. But they are one of the more improved groups from week 1 to week 5 that I've seen in college football this year. I don't know if you see it similarly.
They're on their way. They're on their way. And the last time I saw them, their quarterback got knocked out of the game. They played a pretty good Vanderbilt team. Physically, I don't think they were up for that challenge then. I think it'll be a little bit different now because their offensive line is sort of firing off the ball and showing a little more fight, a little more grit. I mentioned Jacobs and Rowe, 2 receivers that have been stepping up for them. And the traditional run game's not quite there yet, but it's coming. And I think Mike Shule's learning we've got to keep the threat of Lenoris running the football, mainly to help the rest of the run game. And if they can do that, then they have an opportunity to really do some things. And that defensive line's good, man. It's not just Dylan Stewart. Like, Brian Thomas is playing really good football. Monkel Goodwine's playing good football. Linebackers play fast. They're aggressive. They obviously have experienced secondary. Fred Johnson's doing a good job playing down at the line of scrimmage, off the ball a little bit. He's kind of moving around some. So they can be a handful. I think they need their style game. I think they're a momentum football team. I mean, they got 2 interceptions for scores, and all of a sudden it was lights out O'Reilly. Wasn't really going to happen. Cutter Bully wasn't going to sit there against that group and pick them apart. Just not going to take place. But nonetheless, it was a solid win for Shane Beamer, solid win for South Carolina to get to 3-2. Kentucky is now at 2-2. Couple other games we got to get to.
How do you feel about Cutter Bully long term?
Tough to tell. Because they couldn't protect him.
Too early?
Couldn't protect him. I mean,
I know, but do you feel like that's a pretty good upgrade?
We had a graphic that showed the headshots of all the quarterbacks that they've had like the last 5 years. And it's wild to see the guys they've run through. Will Levis, Devin Leary, who's the kid they got from Georgia?
Vandergriff.
Brock Vandegrift. I mean, I had forgotten about the fact that, some of the transfers that they've taken, I don't even think people really remember. I mean, you go back a couple of years ago, and, they had, what was his name? The kid from Auburn. The dual threat.
Calzada.
Joey Gatewood?
Joey Gatewood.
Oh, yeah.
He was a tight end or wide or something.
He played quarterback for them.
Yeah, he did.
And it just, this year Zach Calzada gets hurt. I think it's a little unfair to just say Calzada couldn't get it done. I mean, he wasn't playing great, but he gets injured. So it's just they run through a lot of quarterbacks, and few have worked. I mean, they've had better success with a receiver playing quarterback than a lot of their quarterbacks playing quarterback in the last 8 or 9 years. So,
wow.
Tell me I'm
Got
wrong.
him. I'm out.
Would you rather have Lynn Bowden playing quarterback or any of the guys we just mentioned? Yeah, exactly.
Probably Lynn Bowden.
The fact that you even have to think about
Lynn
it.
Bowden was sweet.
The fact that you have to think about it tells you everything you need to know about that entire
Well,
situation.
you know Lynn Bowden's the dang man, so don't be a hater.
He's a stud. I agree wholeheartedly. It's just we shouldn't even have to have that conversation. And there's no conversation to have about where you need to go if you're injured. There's a reason Auburn Athletics hand-selected Andrews Sports Medicine's Dr. Benson Immelman and Charles Pitts to serve as their team physicians. They provide the highest quality of sports medicine care in an effort to keep the Tiger student-athletes safe, healthy, and competing at the highest level. If Andrews Sports Medicine is a choice for Auburn Athletics, there's no doubt they should be your family's number one choice for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Andrews Sports Medicine, 7 locations across central Alabama, Birmingham, Coleman, Gardendale, Hoover, Pelham, Trussville. They offer same-day, next-day appointments for acute sports injuries. Visit andrewsportsmedicine.com today to begin your journey of achieving victory over injury. A couple of doozies, a couple of all-timers. Bad box score of the day next, right here on Jocks. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. You're going to have to wait for bad box score of the day at 9:49 a.m., but one thing you never have to wait for, GMAC, is your dental care.
That's because Family Care Dental has you taken care of at the urgent care office, or you'll be seen the same day. 3 locations to make it easy on you, or 5 locations to make it easy on you. Hoover, Fultondale, Homewood, Alabaster, and Trussville. They'll get you where you need to go, and you will absolutely love the experience that you have when you go and shop with Family Care Dental. Call them today at 874-9605. That's Family Care Dental, 874-9605.
All right, let's get to our bad box scores of the day.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Intentional grounding, offense number 7. It's a 10-yard penalty. I'm talking to America here, excuse me.
That's the game.
We don't often do it, but occasionally situations call for it. We don't like to go with high school football and bad box score of the day, but today we will. First off, our Soldado and the Stars knocked off Lathrop 27-14. It does not qualify for a bad box score of the day, but they did get the win.
Win's a win, baby.
Win's a win.
But I will bring you back in-state, where over the weekend, down in Mobile, Williamson knocked off Murphy 100-0.
They pulled a Wilt. And went triple dig.
100.
I feel like the other team scored the night Wilt had 100, so no, they didn't do that. This was 100-0. This is 73-0 at the half.
Thought he was a good coach.
Now,
too.
to Murphy's credit, Williamson pretty good season so far, 6-0. They've outscored their opponents 311-14.
Well, if I say 100 of those came on
Okay, all
Friday.
right. So,
Well, let me ask you this. How many 100-point games do you think we have had in the history of Alabama high school football?
I'd say about
7.
I'd say about
No.
4.
No.
I have no idea.
19.
There have been 19.
High scoring offenses, baby.
Yep. Last time, though, before this was 1970. That was 122-0.
Oh, boy.
There is no running clock like there is in some other states in Alabama high school football. So, apparently Murphy's coach did not agree to a running clock in this game, but the other coach wanted to.
So he actually wanted to take it easy on him, and
Allegedly, yes.
you know.
I've seen that happen before.
Yeah, you have. You have.
Arkansas and Nickel State. It was like 73-0, and Brett Bielema asked the coach if they wanted to run a clock, and he said no. And Brett said, "All right, good, here it comes."
You asked for this.
And I think they scored on their first 3 possessions of the second half, and
That'll
was
do
ugly.
it.
It was ugly.
Got to teach those guys a lesson, I guess.
All right. Also, the Central Washington.
They're the Skyhawks.
They're not.
No, they're the Centurions. It's right there.
No, they're the Wildcats. They just snuck past the Western New Mexico.
They are the Conquistadors.
No,
Cowboys.
they're not. They're
No.
actually
They're the Ravens.
they're the Mustangs.
Oh.
Yeah, y'all all missed that one. Central Washington just got past them with a 91-31 win over the weekend.
Okay. Okay.
Your rushing differential 334-38.
Ground and pound.
Yeah. Now I will say this: Western New Mexico passed for 430 yards in the game.
Let's go.
They lost by 60.
Okay.
You lost by 60.
60.
Correct.
60 burger.
Well, it wasn't the offense fault.
It's fair to say. Yeah. Central Washington only punted twice in the game. They kicked off 14 times for 890 yards.
Not great.
Okay.
Not if you're on the receiving end of that, because you don't want that. They were 6 for 6 in the red zone.
There we go.
13 for 13 on PATs, and lost the time of possession.
Lost it, eh?
That's why they got
Well,
it.
I mean, you know.
Well, I'm just saying. Here were your passing numbers for Central Washington. Kennedy McGill, 3 of 5, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Light work.
Caleb Christian, 3 of 4, 75 yards and a touchdown. Bo Giannet came in and went 1 for 1 for 6 yards. Justice Taylor, however, ran 17 times for 169.
Well, that's good.
Mason Juergens, 2 catches, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's an efficient day.
It
Bo
really is.
Phillips, 1 reception, 53 yards, 1 touchdown.
Attaboy.
Now, the problem was Connor Ackerley, yes, he threw for 378. He was 29 of 51. He threw 4 touchdowns. He also threw 3 picks,
Okay.
one of which was returned for a touchdown.
Okay.
Also, a punt was returned for a touchdown, and a scoop and score fumble returned for a touchdown.
Okay. Well, that happens.
91 doesn't happen very often. I'm just going to say that.
No.
No.
Not often.
How'd your game go this week? Threw for 378 and 4 touchdowns.
So what's
Oh,
the
yeah,
score?
y'all got a big win, huh? We lost by 60. Sorry, what? Yeah, they got us by 60.
One-dimensional. That's all it is.
Just a heavy
One-dimensional.
lean.
As in the defense
That's
didn't
it.
show up. Yeah, just none.
Definitely it.
Did not happen. So, yeah, those are your multiple bad box scores of the day. 100-0. Don't get that often. Craig, tell our listeners about Crocker Moving Services.
They're a local company owned by an Iraq War veteran, Eric Crocker. Crocker believes in hiring movers you can trust to complete full background checks and run drug tests on every single employee. These are good guys. You can trust them in your home. Whether you need your whole home packed up and moved, your company headquarters moved across the country, or you just want them to come rearrange your living room, these guys got you covered. They also do deliveries for furniture that you've purchased and need to get to your home. So call or visit them online today for a free quote. The website's crockermovingservice.com. That's crockermovingservice.com. Support your veterans by choosing Crocker Moving Service for your next move.
All right, we'll get through the rest of the college football games tomorrow. We'll go a little bit more national, dive into some of the SEC games that we didn't spend a lot of time on today. Big week as well. Vandy is going to be in Tuscaloosa. Game day going to be in Tuscaloosa. A lot happening in T-Town, and we'll probably begin a light preview of that one and discuss it tomorrow morning, 7 to 10 a.m. right here on Jocks. Keep it locked all day as Three-Man Front comes to you next, followed by the Paul Feinbaum Show, where all of the college football conversations will be happening. And we'll be back tomorrow, 7 to 10 a.m. right here on Jocks.